Hey everybody, welcome to another Connected Live, and thank you so much. It'll be a pretty quick one. I know I always say that, and sometimes go a little longer than normal, but I wanted to talk really quickly. I just posted an article on Facebook, and I'll post another one. And sorry for my disheveled appearance. We were out at the barn this morning, Robert and I, with the puppy, while the two older guys stayed home. Because we were helping out with Sunday barn chores. And so you're seeing Sunday barn hair, Sunday barn ear warmers, and Sunday barn face. Not a lot of makeup left, in other words, from the wind and the sweating. But the reason I'm wanting to get on today is because I do want to address like health. That article that I posted today was that 80% of Americans are deficient in a particular mineral or particular minerals, which create sugar cravings. And, you know, anytime I've ever talked about weight, inevitably I get one or two really defensive people about their weight. And I know when people come onto my posts about weight with defensive behavior or language, I know it's because they're struggling the disease themselves or the dis-ease themselves, and they can't seem to get a hold of it, or they don't want to admit that the weight is a problem. And I have several clients that I've worked with that have, and I'm currently working with, that'll say to me, you know, I've had this weight issue forever and I just can't seem to figure it out. And it's hard to figure out when we're bombarded by so many negative messages and so much misinformation. I even at one point had a comment to one of my posts about, you know, being fit and being, you know, an appropriate weight for myself by somebody, you know, who was saying, you know, people have medical conditions and I'm sick of the judgments. And I happened to see that the person went and I guess, you know, got medical attention and looked at what was causing, you know, the problem metabolically with their system, and has lost a tremendous amount of weight and is back on track to being able to ride horses again. They've never contacted me to say that they've done this. I just saw it on their posts. And I was really happy for them because I know the person has really greatly suffered not being able to ride, and greatly suffered with their body not working appropriately. But when I saw their posts about the weight that they had dropped, they had said something like, you know, that they had heard that people had said it was emotional, that it was energetic, that it was past lives, and a whole load of stuff. And that none of that was true or something akin to that, and that they sought medical attention, and actually they had a metabolic issue, something that needed to be addressed physically. Okay, so this is the point of my post today, so hear me. Weight cannot be addressed in a silo. There is an energetic component, there is an emotional component, and yes, many times there can be, back up. There is always a physical component, and one of those physical components may be a medical condition, but that does not mean that you can't figure out how to get your body to an appropriate weight. And by the way, that post that sparked a lot of controversy last time, or at least a lot of people saying about weight, was because I showed myself, you know, looking, you know, lean, and that I was proud of myself, and that there's always a way to get down to the, by the way, what I said was appropriate weight. I didn't say a size 00, I didn't say a size 4 or size 6 or size 8. I said an appropriate weight. Everybody's body is different. My sister Eileen, I'll share a little bit from my past. My dad was a lifeguard and always super fit, and had girls in bikinis around him, you know, during the 60s and whatnot and 50s. And he would always say to me, you know, you would be so beautiful if you were just thinner. And I was just never going to be a size 2. I was never going to be a size 0. I was never going to be a size 00. It was just never going to happen. Not because I'm not willing, but because anybody who looks at my bone structures and my hip bones, I mean, I'm a big build for 5'4". And the other part of it was like they saw like these choppers. When they saw my teeth as a kid, they said, God, this woman's she's going to be like a tall woman. She's going to be 5'8" due to the bone structure, bone density, and my teeth. Hi, I'm 5'4", but yet I have these big bones and these big knees and these big hips, and the best I'll ever do is somewhere between a 4 and a 6. And that's not starving myself, by the way, because I can't do that. I know what my body needs, and it had a lot of damage early on from too much antibiotics because I was sick all the time as a child. I had pneumonia all the time, bronchitis all the time. I had tremendous allergies. I was told I would never have pets. I was told I would never have horses. I have 3 German Shepherds, the most allergen-ridden dogs on the planet due to how much dander they shed. And I'm around horses all the time. I heard it as a child, and I refused to believe the doctors. My parents believed the doctors, so they try to keep me away. But animals were really my only solace as a kid growing up because I was so different from the other children. I technically are what you would call an indigo, and a big one at that. And look at me as a holistic healer today. So I'm going to bring this back to weight. My whole life I struggled with weight. And I also struggled with addiction with that. I have a lot of addictions in my family that are very severe. And so I never became an alcoholic or a drug addict. But what did happen to me was I became addicted to food and sugar. And so I destroyed my system that way. And by the age of 25, I had adrenal gland complete. It wasn't exhaustion, it was complete damage. And once you damage the adrenals at that point, you need a lot of help because big diseases can come in, and then autoimmune disease came in, and then yes, I ended up with a cancer diagnosis, which I have superseded all of that, including some severe physical injuries. And one of the ways that I found out about my weight being a problem, I started to go up and up and up and up, especially as I got into my 30s, and I started feeling worse. I tried everything, and then the last thing to address was the weight. And then I met Arrow, who was this rescued Mustang, and he was small, and he had been carrying women and men, 180, 190, 200 pounds for a 14.2 horse. And I said, I can't do that to him. I won't do it to him. I will not get on his back that way. And I've seen several riders say, weight doesn't matter, blah, blah, blah. It actually does matter. I know people don't like hearing that, but it does matter. And if you are an inappropriate weight for the size of your horse, you've got a problem. And so I got the weight off. Primarily, I was able to tap into my inner knowing and heal my addiction issues, heal my body issues, heal why I was eating for comfort because of Arrow. This horse got me to do it. All the years of trying to heal my relationship with food, and the horse got me to do it. He was just amazing. I was not going to put weight on his back. That his back was so damaged from, and I witnessed how heavy people they put on him, and I couldn't do it to him. I couldn't. So I got the weight off, and it was I'll say for him, but he healed my eating issues. So now let's get back to metabolic disorders. Whenever you're dealing with a dis-ease of the body, and let's say being overweight is a dis-ease, it really is. Because if you love yourself, if you truly love yourself in a healthy way, weight would not get out of control. Either through anorexia, being too thin and disorders that way, or being too heavy, disorders that way. It's just a fact, and no one is criticizing people who are overweight. It means they need a healing. They need to work on why this has happened. And so you do have to take weight issues on a 3-pronged status. You have to address the energetic, you have to address the emotional source, and then you address the physical. Some people do have metabolic disorders. They have serious medical issues that don't allow them to have a proper weight easily and effortlessly. As it turns out, I was one of those people with a metabolic disorder. I have metabolic disorder. I was diagnosed during my cancer virus crazy time of my youth. They also diagnosed me with diabetes. And it made total sense. I mean, my gut was destroyed from the overuse of antibiotics. I mean, I had doctors prescribing antibiotics to me like they were bloody M&Ms for pretty much 9 to 10 months out of the year. That to me is medical malpractice. But of course, in standard medicine today, it's not. But it will at one point be, because they've been misused. And no one really wanted to look at why I had so much bacteria out of control in my body, why I got sick so easily. No one was willing to look at the root cause, including what I was eating, how I was eating, what my stress level was, what my emotional state was. No one looked at those things back in the 70s, ever, even into the 80s and somewhat into the 90s. And so what I found when I was able, once I got the weight off, I was able to moderately have sugar, whether it was organic cane sugar, agave nectar, honey, fruits. I moderately could have those. And then I hit 50. And I hit menopause. And I'm laughing because, holy moly, I have helped a lot of people with menopause and premenopause, perimenopause as they call it, but I hadn't experienced it myself yet. Holy Mary, Mother of God, when I did, I went, wow, I've helped so many people through this, and now I truly understand. It almost feels like it happens overnight when you're going through it. It's like suddenly one day you know your body, and then the next day the whole chemistry changes, the hormones changes, and it's like your body is totally betraying your happy butt, and you're like angry at your own body for the betrayal. Like the inflammation becomes harder to deal with, even from injuries. And so, you know, I went through around when menopause hit me like an avalanche at top speed. I kind of went, you know, it took me about 8 months to really figure it out. And I did start to gain weight again. And I was kind of losing my mind over it because I was like, I haven't changed anything. I'm eating clean. I'm not eating bread. I don't eat potatoes. How much more can people take away from me that I can't eat? You know what I mean? And I was really kind of enraged about it because to lose all the weight that I lost the first time, there are certain foods that I just can't eat. My sister, I will again, you know, share from my personal experience. My sister Eileen, oh my God, she has my mother's bone structure. So she's petite. She's a little taller than me. I think Eileen's like 5'6" or something. She's taller than me, but her bone structure is way more petite. You put my wrist next to her, I look like a dang dude. I mean, I'm just a big girl. And I've always, Eileen, when she's thin, she didn't even have to be in shape. She was naturally cut. And so Eileen would just get thin, not do very much, and be ripped without working out. I mean, I've seen people like this before, but I've experienced it in our family. Eileen had those genetics. And she just looked beautiful in clothing because she was that very lean look, that very elegant look that I always wanted, which I will never have. And I grew up kind of standing next to her with that. So I want to tell you guys, like, I have been through the gamut of issues with food and with weight. And yes, you have to address it on all three. And when I hit menopause, I actually had to eliminate sugar completely. I couldn't even metabolize fruits. It was that serious. I became completely insulin resistant. Now, I could have stood on and had a temper tantrum and go, well, other people can eat this way. I should be able to eat this way. But I couldn't. And if I wanted to maintain my mobility and my health with the injuries that I have, with my hormonal balances, I needed to stay at a reasonable weight. Now I'm getting older, so yeah, being super skinny is not a great idea as you get older. It just really isn't. You want to have a little bit of fat to keep the face up, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like between a size 4 and a size 6. But when you see me, I have mass to me. I don't look waifish. I have mass to me. I will never look like my sister Eileen, and I envy that look. Every time I see her, I see video of her, and I see her beautiful petite features, and I see her very, elegant collarbone, and she's so, she has the construction I wish I had. And Eileen was always able to have cookies and ice cream, and she wouldn't gain weight. She started to now. She's about 6 years older than me, so she has to watch it, and her metabolism is quite delicate now because she's kind of had the same problems with chemicals and bad food and sugar the way I have. So she's wrestled with her own digestion and immune disorders, but the weight really does need to be addressed. Don't let anyone fool you. If someone says, well, I have a metabolic disorder and that's the only reason I have weight issues. Okay, yes, true. But to get to a certain weight level, you have to allow it to happen. Go to the doctor quicker, get on it faster, really look at what you're eating and how you're eating. Not everybody can eat the same. Like I said, I have people that can eat pretty much anything they want still at 50 and 60, and I can't. So it has to be an integrative approach to weight. You have to look at all the elements of those three, and that is my message for today. I promised I would keep it short. Every medical issue, every source of dis-ease must be addressed on all three levels: energetic, emotional, and physical. Physical could also mean that you need to have your glands checked, your thyroid checked, everything. Like, of course, there's a physical issue, and not everybody can eat the same foods and get away with certain things. It's just the way it is. So you can stand on, I can't lose weight because of X, Y, Z, and then have all these health problems because of it and believe your own lies to yourself, because they are lies. But I'm here to tell you, as a person who's not only been through the metabolic disorders, the being overweight, the ridicule, the judgment from childhood, like all my cousins and my dad, everybody in Mexico was like model thin, tall, lean, structures that I would have killed for. I was ridiculed constantly. And I'm surprised I didn't end up with a really serious eating disorder because of how much people went after me. Oh, you shouldn't eat that candy bar. You're too fat to eat that. I heard that as a small child. And I was nowhere near the obesity level that some kids that I see walking around the street are in today's world. But I was considered fat back then. And it was really painful. And I've grown up with it, and I had my time of rebellion. I've had my time of, well, I guess this is the way it is if I want to, but I want to have that sandwich. I want to have that pizza. I want to have this. I want to have that. And then as I got older, what became more important to me was my mobility. What became important to me was I love to be outside. I love to be on horseback. I love to do walks. I don't ever want to be restricted because of weight. And if you even I beg you, go look at an MRI of someone who is obese. You will see what the extra weight at that level does to your bones, your organs, just in compressing the body and moving the body, and what your joints have to put up with. And then people that are overweight to extremes like obesity then wonder why they're having knee problems, hip problems, foot problems. Of course you are. Your body was not designed to take that level of overweightness. Now, I will say, I go to Hollywood, which we all know is this toxic place. I make up probably 4 actresses at a size 4 between a 6. I'm considered fat in Hollywood. But that's their issue, not mine. The fact that I can ride my horses and I'm not damaging their bodies with my weight, and my horses are 14'2". The fact that I can go on walks and do my yoga and, little things. Like, I just want to be as healthy as possible for as long as possible, as mobile as possible, because this world is a beautiful place. And if you are as healthy as you can be, You can enjoy life to its fullest. Run around with your grandkids. My mom was running around until she was like 75. She would chase Bowler around the yard in snow with a broom. and screaming and yelling and having the time of her life. I mean, mobility is really everything. And so when you guys hear me talk about weight, I'm not making fun of anybody. I'm trying to wake people up to their own power, not to their internal dialogue of programmed delusion that they can't do any better for themselves, that this is just the way it is. There's always a way to make your health better. If you haven't found it yet, it just means you haven't found it. And listen to the important word, yet. I don't care if you're a child or if you're in your 70s. If you're committed to your health, you will find your appropriate, note my language, folks, appropriate weight. That does not include an obesity rating. Find it for yourself and hold on to it. And there are going to be days that you white knuckle when you're teaching yourself to eat healthy, to eat for what the machine, this body that we're given, needs. You can do it. I help people do it all the time. I have helped people that they're in their 60s look younger than they did prior to working with me. People say to me, they look at my face, again, no special lighting. I've been in the wind. I've been up since 4. I woke up 4 times last night because I'm taking care of a 9-week-old puppy with my husband. I am tired. I have no special lighting on me. I'm 51 years old and I'm mostly Irish. I should not look this way. I look this way because health means everything to me. I don't look this way because I focus on this. I look this way because I focus on the inside of me, and I focus on what I'm putting into my body. And if that means I give up certain foods that are toxic, to me it's now logical. Why wouldn't I give up toxic foods? Of course I'm going to give up toxic foods. I want mobility. I want to be healthy. And that focus on health of the body is what made the body look younger, because I deal with the body on an energetic, on an emotional, and a physical level. I am walking the talk. There's no Botox. There's no $500 face creams with very weird ingredients that may include children. None of that is necessary. It's so funny. The people, the dark actors, I won't say they're not actors per se, but the dark hats that propose all these radical youth stuff that is toxic, that's people focusing on the outside. That's not real health. I went to LA and I learned that. I lived in Colorado, and man, back then in Colorado when I was in my 20s, people were really focused on health. I mean, people were out running, biking, their kids were fit. I mean, everybody was fit. I was really unhealthy back then still. And I began to look at people really care about health from the inside. People ate right. People lived right. They were mobile. They were outside. They were walking. They did whatever they could. They did their breathing exercises. They went and did Tai Chi if they were seniors, mobility. And I went, wow, these people have got it right. And they looked, most people that I met that were really into the health craze in Colorado, man, they looked great. They looked great. They looked younger than they actually were. Then I go to LA and I go, wow, I get to live in a city where people really care about health. They're claiming they care about health, but what they care about is what this looks like and how thin they can get. That's not health, because I've seen people in LA with the 12 years that I lived there destroy themselves to be thin. Anything it took, no matter what it took, and it was really negative stuff. And then I remembered, you've got to focus on the inside in order to get the results on the outside from the best place possible. It's just like making money. If you focus on mission and purpose and doing it right, then the money comes. All the external stuff comes because you have the right foundation of why you are doing what you do in life. If you go after money for money's sake, money doesn't bring happiness. And I've said this several times, and I have several examples of people that have money from the wrong place, and they're miserable people, riddled with addictions, riddled with all kinds of problems. I mean, all we have to say is Hunter Biden, given every advantage in the world, but clearly an individual who does not have internal happiness because he is engaged in all kinds of negative activity that just erode and destroy someone. So everything is connected. If you come at health from worrying about the inside, the outside takes care of itself. If you come at your life and career through mission and purpose, your external will be a reflection of your mission and purpose, which is why you'll be able to support yourself effectively no matter what it is. I don't care if you want to do finger painting. You will figure out abundance from finger painting because it comes from the right bench strength of mission and purpose. If you don't really understand these concepts, please contact me for an appointment. It's worth every penny. I've been doing this for 20 years and I love what I do. If I had wanted to stay in a profession for simply money, I'd still be in corporate. I speak 3 languages. I have the educational background. I walked away from that kind of superficial, external driven life because I realized it was killing me, killing my soul. And when I really looked at what I wanted to do in life, because everyone thought I should be an equestrian, and I went, no, that's my therapy. I don't want to turn my I don't want to turn my therapy into a job because then it ceases to be therapy. I knew horses weren't my career, but what I loved most of all was helping in any way I could, whether it was people, animals, businesses, however. And I turned that into this career that I've been doing for 20 years, and I love what I do. That is mission and purpose, that you wake up every morning going, what am I going to do today? What am I going to get into today? How am I going to help somebody today? And hear the conversations of how people turn their lives around because I give them the power to turn themselves on, to upgrade their lives from within. My work is not about magic fairy dust. It's about teaching people that they have that internal power within them to change everything, and it comes from within. Nothing external will change your life. Nothing. But there are those of us who know how to help a person go within so that they can listen to the authentic guidance that they need in order to turn their lives around and be prosperous. I have one individual that I'll share. I met them a long time ago in LA, and I think I did 3 sessions, and then they kind of disappeared. And then I think it was like 10 years later, they pop up on my LinkedIn, and they sent me a private message. And they said, I never told you, but you need to hear this. I only did 3 sessions with you. I was about to commit suicide. I was in the worst state I've ever been in my life. I'd lost everything. My job, everything was a mess. My career was over, and I was going to kill myself. And your 3 sessions was the beginning of turning my life around. And I want to tell you, now I have my own ranch. I have a great partner. I have a great job. I have rescue animals, large and small. And I live exactly where I want to live in life. And I owe it to the beginning of you helped me see. I just had to turn everything around and go to that place of mission and purpose. And everything from there started to turn around. And I have what I have today because I listened to that initial energetic vocal push of yours that it was possible, and you gave me hope, and I didn't kill myself. And this person has gone on to have a magnificent career, not only in business, really spreading light, but rescuing animals left and right, helping out in fires, helping in evacuations. This person has like the trickle down effect because they chose to live and listen and upgrade their lives from within. Can you imagine if they hadn't been here? How many would have suffered but for that person making that choice? So that is my message for today. You can find me at connectedenergyhealing.com. Thank you for those of you that listen to me. Please spread my videos. I'm going to be a lot more vocal. I've hidden still in a lot of ways, afraid of being labeled someone crazy, afraid of, even though my credibility is platinum, the psychic abilities, kind of hiding those things, those other senses, because just really afraid of, credibility issues. And I now realize it's fully time to come out and really even more be in that uber confidence to help others through this tremendously difficult time. But there is a renaissance coming. The clients that were working with me, about a year ago, I told them what visions I saw. And so I'm really grateful that I did that, because I do have proof of, I called it. So I will say it live right now for everybody to see. There is a renaissance coming, and it's going to be worldwide. It's a worldwide renaissance. It is coming. I know it's hard to believe with the way the world is in right now, but that's where faith comes in. And so start looking for your mission and purpose if you don't already know what it is. Make the adjustments you need to make to your life to bring joy from within. Know who you are. Upgrade your life. Like I said, if you need help, make an appointment. All right, I will talk to you guys soon. I hope you have a great day. Thanks again, and I'll be seeing you on Connected Live. All right, bye-bye.